Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about United States of America politics, family structures in the Harry Potter world, and how they show us what family structures should be uh, rewarded by taxes, policy, and highlight. All right? So let's dig into this. All right, so first and foremost, let me set the frame for today. So, what I want to talk about today is our government, the United States of America. They currently highlight specific family structures, whereas if you have that family structure, the government will reward you through tax breaks, through policy that is designed to aid your family, or through highlights, cultural highlights. Right? What's a highlight? A highlight is when the U.S. president or any of the senators or any of the governors talk about a family type in a positive light and actually give shine to that particular family structure. Now, what I want to do is I want to sweep through and I want to look at current modern family types, right, that exist today, and some of them are ancient, some of them are brand new, right? And I want to do it from the structure of the Harry Potter world. I want to look at families in the Harry Potter world and see what they did to aid their society. Now, of course, everybody in the Harry Potter world, they're all in Great Britain. That's where that's happening. But we're going to jump it over here to the United States of America because I don't eat fish and chips. All right. So, yeah. I don't really know anything about European culture, and not as much about European culture as I do about American. So we want to apply this, right? So by exploring the well-known family types within the Harry Potter world, that'll help us look at what these family types look like and what they do culturally, right? Now let's get spoilers for the entire Harry Potter series, book and film. Okay. Two. Let's talk about why should a government reward family types? It's a really good question. Okay, now I know people's answer that let's just treat all family types the same. Let's give all family types the same thing. All right. Now that's a very noble. That's a really, really noble sentiment. I understand why people want to do that. But here's the thing. All right, so first of all, when we're talking about the US government, we're talking about an entity that deals with people in the aggregate. It doesn't care about you, nor should it. Right? It doesn't care about Sally or Bob. It cares about the aggregate. What is going to do the most good for the most people, okay? And if there is a group who's getting the short end of the stick consistently, government will step in and help that group. But the reality is almost never does the government really deal at the very specific individual level. There are a few powers. One of them is the presidential pardon. The presidential pardon is incredibly powerful, right? And that does deal at the very individual level. But generally, and so the government can focus down to one person, right? But that's not scalable. And the reason why is if you're one person and you have a problem and you want one solution for you and no one else, right? Well, then everybody else in the country can do the same thing. And that's 330 million people, right? And I think the adults is like 240. That's 240 million requests. Ain't nobody going to get anything through, right? So the government has to deal with people in the aggregate, right? So when you say, oh, hey, let's treat every family group the same, what you're really saying is let's shaft everybody, right? Because the reality is that's really no policy, right? You're just saying, hey, everybody gets the same. Doesn't matter what your family structure is, you get the same. And what you're saying is we don't really care what impact the family structure has on our society. We're not going to encourage family structures that are helpful to society, right? And it can be really damaging, right? Like I definitely understand people's, if you're out there and you're like, every family structure should be treated exactly the same, I understand why you're thinking that. I think that's a fairly immature view of how politics work, and that if you're really going to make this happen, you need to apply aggregate thinking, right? And that seems impersonal to people. And guess what? The government is incredibly impersonal, and it should be. That's how it functions, right? It's dealing with aggregate. Okay, all right. So that's out of the way. Let's dive in. All right. In the Harry Potter world, there are the following family structure types. There is Val heavy. All of these are actually. We're going to talk about all the. We're going to talk about all these family structure types, and they're all represented in Harry Potter in one way or another. We'll dig into it. There's Val heavy, Val light, independent light, independent heavy. Okay. Independent light, independent heavy. And then there is impacted light and impacted heavy. Okay. 6 different family structure types. So let's talk about Val heavy. Okay. Val heavy is, so let's define that term. Val means the 2 parents in the family have vowed to be with each other for the rest of their lives. So it's a vow structure, right? And they're saying, we promised one another that we would be with each other until we die. That's a vow structure, okay? Vow heavy means that the ratio of parent to child is 2 kids to each parent or above. That is a vow heavy family structure. There is one very prominent vow heavy structure in the Harry Potter movies, and that is the Weasleys. You have Arthur and Molly. They're the 2 parents. You have their 6 kids: Ron, Fred, George. Fred and George are the twins. Ron is Harry's best friend. Ginny. Ginny turns out to be Harry Potter's wife at the end. Fred. Okay. Fred is the oldest brother. He's not really even seen much in the film because he's grown. He's out of the house, right? And then you have Percy, who's kind of the jerk brother. But that's 6 kids. That is a 3-to-1 ratio. 3 kids for Molly, 3 kids for Arthur. They are a vow-heavy structure, right? Now, this family is like no other family in Harry Potter world. Not only are they able to instill values in their kids, courage and ability in their kids, they are also able to extend hospitality and be the most significant family unit to Harry above and beyond their kids. So they're really supporting like 7 kids at the child level. It's incredible, right? So Val heavy, the Weasleys is the absolute gold standard of families in the Harry Potter movies. They are a Val heavy family, right? They're vowing, the 2 parents are vowing to be together for the rest of their lives, and then and they have kept that vow, right? And then in addition to that, they are heavy from children perspective. They are at a ratio of 2-to-1 to children to parents. Vow heavy family, okay? Really the gold standard of families in the Harry Potter films. Let's talk about vow light. There's 2 examples of vow light. So these are 2 parents who have vowed to be together for the rest of their lives, and they're light. That means that the ratio of children is less than 2-to-1. So 2 good examples of this are Val Granger. So Hermione Granger's parents, they only have 1 kid, right? So that is a Val light family. And the Dudleys, right? So they have 1 child as well. And the Val light structure is, so it's 0.5 ratio of parents to kids, right? So kids, there's 0.5 kids to each parent, right? So this family structure is very strong in the film as well. So Dudley has every possible thing he could want, but it does show that Val light that there are problems with the Val light family, okay? 1, Dudley is spoiled because he doesn't have to share anything with anyone, right? He's their only real child, right? So from that perspective, you get a spoiled child. So the Potter world is showing us very closely, right, that Val light can lead to spoiling of a child, right? Hermione Granger, she is brilliant and capable. However, she does not have a strong relationship with her parents. In fact, there's even a point where she literally obliviates her parents. She makes them forget who she is. So, like, you can't really say that Hermione's relationship with her parents were very strong. So, the Harry Potter world is saying that Val Light is a structure that you can raise a child on, but it's not nearly as good as Val Heavy, if you're looking at the examples in the book. Okay? Let's talk about independent light and independent heavy. A perfect example of independent light is Dumbledore. Dumbledore he is an independent person. He has vowed nothing to no one, right? If he is with anybody, he can leave at any time, and they can leave him at any time, right? And he is light in that he has chosen to have no children, right? So they're saying that an independent light structure, the examples of it in the book are that it supports no one except the independent person. But it does support the independent person very, very well. Dumbledore is incredibly capable. He has good value. He has good moral fiber. He has good moral values. All those kind of things, right? He's a champion, a leader, right, in the books. Let's talk about independent heavy. There are no examples of independent heavy in the book, and this kind of makes sense. Like if you're independent, you probably don't want to be tied down with children, right? It's just there are zero examples of independent heavy in the book, right? Guess what? That matches real life. I've never seen an independent heavy family, not once in my entire life. Maybe they exist. I haven't seen them, right? Okay, so that's independent light and independent heavy. Let's talk about impacted light and impacted heavy. So what is an impacted family? Well, Harry is from an impacted family. Both of his parents were killed by Voldemort, right? So if you have evil wizards in your world and they go around killing your parents, your family is now an impacted family, okay? So Harry comes from an impacted light family. The Potters had one kid, right? Harry had no brothers or sisters. Also, the Longbottoms. Neville Longbottom is also from an impacted family. His parents were killed as well by evil wizards, okay? So there are two examples of impacted light families in the Harry Potter world. So the Potters, who raised their child as ghosts by love, it protected them from Voldemort. I mean, and Harry Potter is incredibly capable, right? Neville Longbottom, he turns out to be a complete dork and only ripens like fruit later, right? So it's saying the Harry Potter world is saying, yes, you can grow a kid in an impacted family, but it's going to be really challenging, and they might turn out to be a Neville on you for a little while and be really lame for a while until they become cool later in life. Okay. And then impacted heavy. So if your family is impacted, heavy would be, a high ratio of children. 0 examples in the book, which totally makes sense. So if you look at the Harry Potter world and you say, which of these families is helping Great Britain the most, it's super clear, right? The Weasleys. Arthur is a fantastic civil servant. Molly is an amazing parent. She really does a lot to nurture all of the children, right? Arthur and Molly are choosing for Arthur to be a provider and Molly to be a nurturer. They could switch that up if they wanted. They didn't in the book, And then with that, not only are they able to support in a better way than any other family shown, right? Ron, Fred, George, Ginny, Ron, Fred and George, Ginny, Percy. Oh, and there's one more brother. I think I'm drawing who is that? Oh, Charlie. Charlie is the grown brother. Sorry about that. So you have all, and there's also Bill. There's so many Weasleys. There's Bill Weasley, Charlie Weasley, Percy Weasley, Fred and George, Ginny, and then Ron. So there are a lot of Weasleys, just a ton, right? So, and their family structure is so strong that it supports all of them and supports Harry Potter, right? In a very loving family with a roof over their head, never short on food. Maybe their books and their clothes are tattered. That is shown. But that's okay. I think it's really good for kids to not have everything they want and to have to deal with some used hand-me-downs. It's a great thing. It builds character, right? Look at the Dudley's son, right? That did not work out well for them. He's incredibly spoiled, right? So if you look at which one of these families would actually help the Great Britain, UK, United Kingdom the most, it's clearly the Weasleys. So Val-heavy families are by far shown in Harry Potter, by example, to be the type of families that the UK should give benefit to. Accordingly, nothing's that different in America. Same thing here. I think our government should give tax policy and highlight benefits to Val-heavy families, right? They should also give tax and policy benefits to Val-light, okay? And then they should give tax benefits to independent light and impacted light. I don't think the government should do anything to encourage impacted heavy or independent heavy. It doesn't make a lot of sense from a structure. And one of the things that's great about the Harry Potter world, and it's one of the best pieces of fiction, one of the best intellectual properties that's ever been written. It's really a modern classic. It really helps us to see how these families structure and what it looks like when people are raised. And honestly, I think J.K. Rowling did a fantastic job, and it really is really fantastic what a great job she did showing families, right? And helping us to say, hey, okay, if we look at the examples of families in Harry Potter, which ones of these should be benefited by the government? And so in my opinion, Val-heavy should get the most. It should get taxes, policy, and highlight in the U.S., right? Benefits from all three levels. Light should get taxes and policy, and then last, Val-heavy should get taxes, policy, and highlight. I think Val-light should get taxes and policy, and then last, I think independent light should get tax benefits. It should really not be encouraged from a highlight perspective, and I don't think it should be given any policy benefits. If you're looking at how these are structured from the Harry Potter world. And I think it is incredibly helpful. Like, if you really want to know about culture and society and what makes somebody a hero and what helps us to make good choices, the Harry Potter world is a fantastic place to learn that. There's one place better, but the HP IP world is really a fantastic place to explore family structures. All that's my opinion. What do you think? Do you think that independent light families should be given more than Val-heavy families? Why? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.